Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are so excited to be coming to you today with none other than Paul, the Miami landscaper. And this is going to be a really, really fun one. I got to meet Paul at Together in the Trades, about 3 weeks ago now, and I've been following him on Instagram for a while, and love his work, love the things that he does down there you're in Miami, right?
Correct, Miami, South Florida.
Yeah, so really cool place down there. Love hearing the stories that you share on Paul's podcast about the wildness down there, and might get into that a little bit today. But in case you haven't heard Paul's story, we're going to go through that today. We're going to give a little teaser here. I'm going to hear his full story. So let's kind of just go through it, Paul. I want you to take us back to the beginning and tell us about how you got started with your lawn maintenance business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It sounds good, my friend. It's always good to recap, and kind of hearing some of your stuff, and it's good to hold yourself accountable. So these podcasts are great. I did a few with Paul Jameson, like you said, and it's good to I did one. The first one I did with him is 2 years ago, so I heard it again recently, and I'm like, all right, some of that stuff I applied, and some of the stuff I didn't, and maybe I did, or I just didn't go all the way in. So these podcasts are great, so we try to just give value, But a little background on myself before I get carried away. So background on myself, I grew up here in Miami. I'm raised by a Venezuelan family, so I am Venezuelan. But I was born here in Miami. Very diverse city. There's all types of cultures here. So I started landscaping around 16 years old. I know a lot of guys can relate. You were saying, you got a lot of young guys on the show. That's a huge motivation. I love talking to the guys that are just starting up, young or older. Just when they're starting up, that hypes me up. I like keeping in touch with people that are getting into the industry. So 16, not all Miami kids, but like most Miami kids, I was getting into trouble. I was distracted by parties, lots of parties. I still love, your good party. But I definitely was in that lifestyle, and it got to a point where I was driving my parents kind of crazy, and they were pretty much over it. And but I always liked, having my own money and not asking my parents for, change to go to the movies or anything.
Yeah.
So I would always do little side gigs and stuff, and then one day I picked up a pressure cleaner. The pressure cleaner was the first tool that I bought on my own, and I was like, just a machine and a hose, So just ran with that, and people kept asking me to do landscape work back to back, and I would push it off, and eventually I grew into it. My dad was like, hey. My dad was trying to keep me busy too. He was happy to see that I was out of trouble, focused on the business. It's a great way to channel your energy. If you have friends or just in general, you want to better yourself, just drown yourself in the business, and it'll take you somewhere, somewhere better than the distractions that I had. So my pops helped me out with my first mower. It was a little snapper tractor mower. And super, super slow. But I told my dad, you know what? From here on, it's me. Don't worry. And I started buying all the weed whackers, the blowers, and all those tons of attachments that lawn maintenance requires.
Yeah.
So I would hire my friends after school. We would do a lawn here and there. After class, we'll cram all this stuff in like van, and then little by little, I would just reinvest, always reinvest. And eventually had a truck and a trailer, a couple mowers. Next thing I knew, I had maybe 5 or 6 of my friends work with me, and I was not even 20. So that was fun. It was very thrilling to have my guys with me, my boys. and we're just, we were having fun. But it got to a point where, I was living in my parents' house. So people that start their business and they got kids and they have a mortgage to pay, they much respect, because they have to learn off the bat. They don't have room for those mistakes.
Yeah, it's crazy that you say that. That's something that I say all the time is like, it's amazing to me when people leave a full-time career or something to go with a family and like start their own company. I think like Dylan Stevenson comes to mind with Solo Cuts Landscaping. Like, dude was a truck driver, had a good job, but he wasn't happy, and he left with with a family. I mean, a wife and I think 2 kids at the time. So, and now he's crushing it in the landscape game. He's doing big landscape installs. Like, he's absolutely crushing it. But the risk and the reward to that is crazy. But
For sure,
it's funny that you say that.
Yep. You got to take the plunge, and I can't compare. My story doesn't compare because I started at 16, and a lot of landscapers start at 16. But there is people that start maybe just turn 30 or 35 or whatever, mid-20s, and then they pull it through. But I would let those mistakes just kind of go by because I'm at my parents' house. It's not a big deal. But even then, it was starting to add up. The whole knowing your numbers thing. I was just going in blindly. I was just working just to work, and I was busy. I was super busy. I had I built up to, now I have like 4 trucks, but pretty young. I had 2 trucks running, a big lawn route, maybe 200 lawns, but I was just all over the place. And I was burning myself out after about maybe year, maybe 8, maybe 7, maybe year 7 or 8. I was pretty sick of myself as far as like the mistakes and the bills, everything. You need new tools and another mower, and then this got stolen. So things were adding up quick, and I was like, man, I need to transition something here. And I started just messing more with design jobs. Every like Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff, people would ask for a little mulch, some plants, and I would give in. So that's when I started practicing a little bit on my design side. And I started noticing the numbers were a lot better on that end. And little by little, I started transitioning. I started taking Instagram very serious. So once I took Instagram serious is when things really started to change. I started promoting ads and really, taking my marketing to the next level. Then 2020 hit. And then that's when really like everything completely went to design. So I have a small crew doing maintenance. But I went from full-on maintenance to mostly design now, which is great because I know a lot of people enjoy the maintenance, but I know there's a lot of people that are trying to figure out their way out. So it's just a matter of dabbling into those small designs and work your way into all the plants, learning all the plants and stuff. So yeah, here we are. What is it, 2022? And we got 4. Yeah, I got 4 trucks. And about 6 employees. So yeah, so it's a nice show we got going, man. We do a lot of rock work. But yeah, any questions, man? Let me know.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. That's a cool story. So I kind of want to walk back through there, and I always like picking apart different times on the timeline of people's businesses and figuring out like when turning points were and things that you did to help transition and transform your business. So go back all the way to day one. You said you started with a pressure washer, right?
Correct.
What made you start pressure washing? Like, what did you have? Like, what made you start doing it? Did you want to have a side hustle? Did you want to? I know you said you wanted to have your cash for yourself to go to the movies and stuff.
Exactly. I wasn't super thrilled about pressure washing. I did a couple 2-story roofs, and it was super scary. And
so you started on roofs.
Roofs and driveways, but I was just taking anything. But I wasn't super passionate about the pressure cleaning. And I noticed that if you pressure clean a roof or a driveway, you're not going to pressure clean the roof or driveway again for at least another year.
Yeah.
So I started noticing that trend. You have to have a big clientele list in order to have work every day. So I was starting to think of stuff. So then that's kind of when the landscaping kept popping up. And I figured that it was residual income. A lot of people try to pitch you multi-level marketing and residual income. Landscaping is residual income. Every 15 days, you have to, or every 10 days. Down here, it's every 15. But Up north, I guess it's weekly or whatnot. But yeah,
That's what made you. No, that's good stuff. What did you learn in pressure washing when it comes to like actual like running a business? Was it then, or was it when you were running your lawn maintenance crew when you really started learning like business aspects? Because did you take any business classes in school? Like, how did you learn how to run the actual business, like the back end stuff?
good question. So I think the way my brain works, I just always like managing. At the end of the day, it comes down to people. I enjoy being the guy in the middle saying, you go this way, you go that way, we're going to do this. This is the plan. And a lot of people need that, so that's the reality. So I've always enjoyed that task. But with the pressure cleaning, I figured I was just going with basics. What can I start now? And the pressure cleaner was just $400 maybe, and a hose, and that's it. So you could use the people's water. Obviously, I was young. I'd say, hey, can I connect the hose to your house? So by the first 2 or 3 jobs, I already had the machine paid off. So that was cool. But the business then started picking up with the tools, and then that's when I started learning things the hard way. I was finance. I'm not scared to put my money where my mouth is. I'll finance stuff. Let's go. I'll get the work. And I started really digging a really big hole for myself. And things started getting ugly as far as bills. Like, no matter how much money I was making, it wasn't enough. So that was definitely learning the hard way. But back to your initial point is a mentor. I now have a few guys that I can reach out to, several guys in the industry. But there was a point where I was just kind of running on my own. Like towards the beginning, I had a guy kind of guided me through, but we fell off, and then there was a big gap that I would say blind, just kind of just running, right, like a chicken without its head. And then I started linking up again with another mentor, Gus. He was a local landscaper. I started talking to more people in the industry. I started meeting, obviously, Paul Jameson and these people through YouTube. I met, I find their videos, and I'm like, wow, there's more people going through this. There's a lot of people going through this. We're all in this together. So I started finding that community. That community was a big, big inspiration to what we have going on today, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. The Instagram social media is what I've talked about for ever since we started the podcast. Like it's allowed me to make so many friendships and relationships that would have never ever happened if it wasn't for social media. So it's kind of like let's transition into your Instagram thing, because this is what I kind of want to talk about this for a few minutes, because it really interests me, and I think you're the first one that I've ever heard that has used Instagram as their main platform of marketing. Like most people say Facebook, not Instagram.
Facebook has gotten so crazy with the politics. I was over it. So and a lot of people here, I guess, use Instagram anyway. So when I'd go on Facebook, I would see the same exact post, and I noticed that the people that really like knew me or whatnot, it was mainly on Instagram. And I think the algorithm also knows if you check your Facebook a lot. So the computer knows it all. So I feel like you could post both, right? You could post it where it goes to both. But
yeah.
If you're physically active on Instagram, I think it's gonna have the better numbers there or whatnot. But yes,
what kind of demographics are you seeing? Like when it comes to customers?
I've tried a few different tactics. So I'll sponsor an ad, and at first I was like typing up just general subjects like landscaping, gardening, new home renovation and stuff like that. So you put all those things and you apply that to your ad. You could, it has there's all types of tools that you could do if you have a business profile. So I do a lot of ads. Well, it depends what you call a lot, because some people spend thousands in marketing. I spend on Instagram ads maybe $300 a month. That generates constant leads. Right now we're looking at with $300, we're looking at least 2 leads, 3 leads a week. When the hype was hitting hard a couple months ago, that everybody, at the beginning of 2020, everybody was doing their landscaping. I was doing $300 a month on ads, and I was getting 10, 15 messages a week. It was getting crazy. I have seen the hype. Maybe this for summer.
Were you targeting certain areas? Like, were you using geofencing or anything like that?
So I haven't applied physical areas because you could do like a zip code specifically. You could type in multiple areas and it'll catch people in that area, I guess. But I did switch it up recently to a higher age crowd. I had it at like 25, going up to like 55. So I bumped that up a little bit because your typical homeowner down here, especially if everything's so expensive, if the homeowner has the money to, one, be a homeowner, and two, do their landscaping, they're typically at least 30. And that's if they're doing very well for themselves. Because things are very expensive out here. So, as you know, landscaping's a luxury.
Yeah.
So I started bumping up the age just a bit so I get a little more bang for my buck. But I still think, even though right now I say the hype dropped a bit, I still think that for what Instagram charges on the ads, if you have a clean page, it's more than worth it.
What would you recommend to somebody out there listening to post on their page? If they want to go the Instagram route for like business advertisement, what do you think you should be posting?
Yes, so I on my story, similar to yourself, I put a lot of day to day on the story, for example, and then that's when people get to know you personally, quote unquote, or those little stories, the little stuff that your trends that you do. That's where I talk about culture and the sayings. I have like sayings like in the trenches, they're keeping it fresh. You just drill people with that. They love it. Just little slogans like that when you're on the job. That's always cool with the story. But more and more, I've taken the actual like landing page. Your post is very serious in the sense of when they land on your Instagram. Everything looks very clean, and it's just design jobs and maybe a few pictures of myself. I am big on people like to see that there's psychology behind a face. People like seeing a face behind a business. Mm-hmm. So I definitely would encourage people to put their face in their business. A lot of people are scared to put their face out there. They just post their work, but sometimes people, they feel comfortable with that face behind the business. But just try to have a very clean image on the page. Don't even if it was a funny post, maybe, post it and then hide it or put it. The reels, I know the reels are separate. So those can get funny. I do funny stuff for my reels. But for the actual post, try to keep it as clean as possible. Most of the time, the one that takes the picture is myself because it's hard to explain how to get a good picture. So yeah, just do your best in getting a clean picture and make sure all your pictures look like that.
Do you recommend posting your reels on your profile page?
So I've been hiding them. Like if they're funny, I'll hide them. Like if it's something like that or messing around,
yeah,
I guess I'll keep some. Depends on the reel. But if it's showing my work for the most part, yeah, I'll keep it. But yeah, it depends. If the reels are I know a lot of people making funny reels, I would probably keep that separate. But yeah, honestly, my reels are the work. A lot of the reels are the work itself. So
no, I agree with you about the face of the business. That's something that we could talk about for just a quick minute here, because so we've sent out on our website, we have a picture of me and Savannah and then our dog Marley at the time. That was last year. We just had her. Now we have another one named Murphy. But we have that on our landing page for our website, and that's the first thing you see when you pull it up. And I think that's something that needs to be actually emphasized more and talked about more, because every landscape company is going to have their work on their page. Like that's a common thing. That's what's going to be on there. But you can really set yourself apart, I feel like, if you include yourself and your family, and especially if you're like a small business and you really want to connect with your community, you're in one small area, then let your name be known and brand yourself to where everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows that Paul is the Miami landscaper, and you are you, and Jeremiah is Growing Green Landscapes owner, and we are us. We have our own small business. We actually. So where I was going with that is we actually picked up a customer the other day, and it was from a referral, but he went on the website and saw our dog. And so the first time I went up to for the first time I went up to the job, he was like, well, where's the dog at? You say she rides along with you and stuff. So people actually look at that stuff, and it really, I mean, it turns out his daughter loves dogs, and so she was looking forward to seeing him. Like, I don't know. That might, I mean, I don't know. I haven't asked him, but that could have.
No, it clicked. It's a lot. It has a lot to do with it. Trust me, clients call me because of me and the business and what we have as the culture and what they see, you know? So one thing that I've spoke with Paul Jameson about a few times is the credibility behind Instagram, the friendship that you build through a client that you might not even know. You just meet them when you do the estimate, but when you pull up, they feel, at least they feel like they know you because they watch your stuff. They've been waiting for you to come over, you know, and do their landscape. So it's a different vibe that social media offers. There's a lot of distractions in social media. You know, together in the trades, I spoke to a lot of good people that I met, and I was surprised. A lot of these guys are like, "No, man, I can't do Instagram. Man. It's a big distraction. I can't do." And it is. It's gotten me into trouble. You know, I think it's gotten all of us into trouble. That's why people say stay away from it. But the reality is that you got to take it serious, and you have to treat it like a business. That it's a business. So if you're not on Instagram, whoever is on Instagram is not going to know you exist. So that is a big deal. And back to the family, yes, people don't want to just get sold on something. They want to support another family-owned business, a small family-owned business. They're not just like some corporation where, you know, if the guy switches jobs, then it doesn't really matter. You just get passed on to another manager and someone else kind of always fills in. But when you're a family business and you see it's a family business, people are passionate to support that, really. And young, even better. When you're young, you gotta take advantage of that because people helped me so much because they saw I was young and hungry.
Yeah, and you just gotta be willing to do good work and have really good communication skills and everything goes along with running a business and being a business owner. But I think you really should show yourself on your website and stuff, and on your Instagram, like you said, make your face known and show yourself every once in a while. You mentioned theft in very quick passing. In Miami, do you run into a lot of that?
Yeah, thankfully, knock on wood, I haven't dealt with it in at least over a year, but that sounds like a lot, as you can tell by my reaction. Yeah, it would happen. There was points where it happened once or twice a year that a blower goes missing, the whackers go missing. One time in particular, about I want to say it was more like 7 years already ago. It was a while ago. I've been landscaping for 13 years, so it's all blur. That I got the whole truck robbed at one point about 8 years ago. And when we found the truck, 2 of my mowers were gone. All the weed whackers are gone. There must have been like a $10,000 or $15,000 loss.
My goodness! Did you have insurance at that time?
Nope. And I wish I did, and I wish I could, but it's just insurance here in Miami it's unreal. The car insurance is probably double or triple than anywhere in the nation. It's everything. I think we just passed the most expensive city. So
how did you recover from that? I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. How did you recover from that? Like, you lost your whole business just up and gone.
Yeah. It was tough.
Did you have capital? What did you do?
Nope. That's one of the reasons why I was kind of going through it as far as the whole debt thing. I was just like not scared to get into debt. So I was like, hey, it's okay. I got the work, right? I got the work. So, but it just wasn't adding up, you know? So I would work 6 days a week, 7 days a week. Down here we have hurricanes. When the hurricanes would come, I worked 20 days straight. But at the end of the day, if you're financing these tools and they're getting stolen every couple months and you're not charging enough, you're going to run into a real problem. Thankfully, I got introduced to Dave Ramsey by a fellow friend, and that was a huge thing in my life. You know, I can't say I'm debt free yet, but it definitely gave me a huge wake up call. Because I'm a big Grant Cardone guy. I'm sure you know Grant Cardone. I'm a 10X guy. Yeah. That's my thing. And that's a business style, business mentality. But I also had made a lot of mistakes that I had to fix. So the reality was I had to fix the mistakes that I had done and then continue with my 10X mentality. So that I definitely had to clean up that mess because, the mowers got stolen. I told my mom, hey, mom, here, hey, put this on the credit line. I got it. Don't worry, I'm gonna pay for it. And I always pay for it. I never miss a payment. But was there money left over? No, not much. Thankfully, I always, manage to enjoy my life. I go out and, well, that's one thing I will promote in people. We spoke about it together in the trades is work hard, play hard. I wouldn't go through all of the stuff that we go through, and as business owners in general, is to not, when you want to kick back, you want to kick back with your wife and kids. And,
yeah, you got to reward yourself every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. You have to reward yourself. If not, you catch yourself in that burnt out mode. Just you got to catch up, and you're always, not treating yourself. It can get rough. And especially in the trades, I think we see it even more because it's physical and mental.
How do you combat the burnout stage? This is a perfect time of year to have this conversation because we are in we're officially in the dog days of summer, and you are. I mean,
Marty Grunder says. Marty Grunder says 100 days of hell.
yeah, that's right. That is exactly right. And I think we're on day 4. I think we got 96 more to go. So, but how do you handle that? Because we're in similar climates. It's even hotter down there than it is where I am at. But I still deal with a lot of the humidity that you deal with.
Sure.
So I know how miserable that is, and it makes it really, really tough working and also keeping employees to work out in that. Like, how are you handling and how have you handled over the years just this point in the year? It's so rough. I know there's guys out there who right now they're like, I don't want to get out and go work tomorrow. I just can't do it. How do you keep going, and how do you keep your team morale up?
Man, one thing those landscape management magazines where I learned about Marty Grunder, the 100 Days of Hell, he said something about masochists. Landscapers are masochists. They enjoy the pain. But it's a challenge, So the employee thing, that the reality is as good as you might be a boss, my friends will tell me, hey, you're the best, you're one of the best bosses I ever had, and not just to say that, but the heat and the physical labor, they're just not going to last more than 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
So every summer I lose at least one guy.
Yeah.
And it's typically on good terms, but it's just, they just break down. They break down, and it's up to me to, build a solid business for them and get home on time. And I know friends that, and I'm sure you have people that that they finish every day at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night.
I don't know how they keep employees. I see people we'll be going to eat at night. Yeah. We'll be going to get ice cream or something, and people are still out working. And there's guys out there working with them. I'm like, how?
I stopped doing that, man, because I was burning myself. I was burning my guys out. I still wasn't making any more money. I gave myself the mentality of the construction, if you work a real construction job, which, I'm not a corporate company, but let's say we're talking corporate, it's 7 to 3. Hard labor. Mm-hmm. 7 to 3, right? So anything past that is obviously, your overtime or whatnot. I try to take care of my guys. When it's a long day, I'll shoot them a little here and there. We don't have a strict system. I was listening to one of your podcasts about, your guy in an hour in the truck on the way up, on the way down another hour, So it's very hard. Most of the time it's salary based, but keeping the guys motivated is a big deal. So just pay them well. Oh yeah, what we're talking about, finishing at a decent time. I try to tell my guys, hey, let's wrap it up 3:30. And that's it, because you're just giving another reason to burn out all the guys. That has been a big challenge, but I'm never, another thing I like to touch up. I'm not shy, and if you're a good friend of mine, you know that I'm big on naps. I would say Abraham Lincoln would take naps too. Because people see it.
I love naps. You ain't gotta tell me on them.
Yeah, bro. People shame naps. I gotta take a nap. But the reality is, we get up at 5 in the morning, sometimes even earlier. Sometimes I'm up at 4:50. I got the alarm 4:50 ready. So obviously we're out in the sun, and not only you're out in the sun, you're managing employees, you're making calls, you're doing this, you're doing that, physically, mentally, very, very draining. So I noticed that when I try to come home after a long day of work, sometimes, yes, if it wasn't such a crazy day, yes, you can come straight into the computer, start typing up code. On a perfect day, on a great day, smooth day, cool. But I noticed that if I'm out there really giving it my all, and then I jump on the computer, that's when I start drowsing away. I'm falling asleep. So now I'm like half awake, half not, doing an estimate. That is dangerous. That's how, you get a job approval and, yeah, man, when can you start? And then you realize you underbid it or missed a section or something like that. So I'm big on a 30-minute nap. Don't go too much more than that. But that right there, when I'm up from my nap, I'm rebooted. I'm ready to go. I'm jumping off the walls again. But if I don't, I'm like slouchy. I'm not unmotivated. So sometimes we have to reset. If we give it our all in the field like that, just a quick little cut snap.
Yeah. No, that's some of the best advice ever given on this podcast right there. Is you got to take naps. I love naps, and I've seen this video going around. Have you ever seen this thing where like Navy SEALs say you can take a 5-minute nap and like you can fall asleep in seconds if you just lay on the floor and then put your legs up in the air, like you put them up on a couch or up on the wall.
Yeah.
And everybody that I've seen does it says it's amazing sleep.
Yeah, I bet. No, I'm big on that. And then my wife even knows. Well, we've been together now 10 years, so she knows me well. Before, maybe, in the middle of our relationship or even when we first started moving in together, when we first started living together, she's like, I'm going to take a nap. Oh, come on, But she realized that when I got up after that nap, I'm up, I'm ready, I'm focused, I'm paying attention, I'm present,
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you're just dragging, you might as well not even just call it out, if you're all in or nothing,
Yeah, for sure. Well, where are you at now? So you said you went into more design. What all design are you doing? Are you doing like, I know you do a lot of rock. Is it like river rock or like marble, like white marble stone? What kind of rock are you putting down?
Yes, sir. So the white marble is very popular, but I lead people away from it because it stains. So what I do with the white marble is I use it as accent pieces. So I'll do like a certain agave or a centerpiece. Let's say it's a centerpiece plant. I'll do a white circle around it, and then the gray will be the base. So give it that pretty modern touch. Yeah. So I've gotten real creative with that. People have seen it on my page and they love it, so they request it. You want to post the type of work that you want to do. So the marble chip, I use it for accent pieces because yes, I've thrown out tons of it because it gets stained. So if for you guys listening, if you get a job for multiple yards of white marble, try to lean away towards that. Even though some clients never listen, but lean towards the grays or the river rock. The river rock is beautiful. We definitely have that down here. There's one that I push that is super nice called Arizona rock, the crimson red rock. That one's very, very nice. And it's a good alternative because the river rock has been around for so long that people are kind of getting bored of it, but it has to match the home. You can't put a gray rock when the whole home is terracotta and brown and red.
What is this brown rock? I'm actually on your Instagram looking, and you used the black. I mean, did I say brown? Black rock as an accent piece. You did like white and gray rock, like in the rest. Maybe that's the river
like
rock.
Stepping stones. The stepping stones. That's something that we've definitely been implementing a lot. In alleyways mainly. Actually, we just finished one in an alley. Because the grass, when these homes are so tight together, the grass in certain areas just never catches. So we do like basic paver work. I don't do like typical like almond type pavers where it's, your traditional hardscape.
Mm-hmm.
It's more, I call it natural walkways. And it's a great way to ease into hardscape because I eventually would love to do hardscaping, but yes, you need to study that stuff and you need to be a true professional because, there's levels, right? But, yes, the stepping stones that you see on my page is basic stuff. Some sand. If we do a lot of them, we compact it. But if it's just a couple, we'll just lay some sand. And I've visited the job sites and several months after, and everything's nice and in play. You use like really thick sand. But yeah, the gray rock is probably the most popular one. People love the gray rock.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, you can do a lot of accent stuff with this. I'm just scrolling and it's like it looks really, really good, and the patios look really, really good and professional as well. So that's interesting. how did you get into? Did you just like pick up a job and do it on your own and like just figure it out along the way? Did you have somebody help you? Because I know people think like it can be intimidating doing things like
It is.
this.
The design is very intimidating for a lot of people. I've noticed that that's the niche that I want to be in because of that. People, including myself, one of the many, many, many mistakes I made was looking at a job, eyeballing it, not measuring, just kind of looking at it and be like, tell the client, you know what, I'll do it for $1,000. Let's just say, right? Okay, cool. And then when you're at the nursery, you never did your numbers. You know your numbers, right? So you're at the nursery, and I'll bring 10 plants here, 10 plants there. Let's say you give yourself a general design in your head, and then the plants were a little more than you thought, and then maybe you needed more rock than you thought. Now you're short on rocks, and you got to come out of pocket. So that would happen towards the beginning stages, and that's what I noticed. Definitely, people stay away from it. They don't have a formula. So these last couple of years that I've been more and more and more into design, I've been saving formulas on Gmail or Google Docs. So I have a partner that a good friend of mine actually that I've known for a long time. He's been an employee of mine for a few years now, maybe 4 or 5 years, and now he's in charge of sales. So we have a system in play where he measures everything and there's formulas. So if it's 30 feet and they want a hedge, I know that I divide it by 1.5 feet and you need X amount of hedges, and same for the rocks. I need X amount of rocks. So that way I know how much I need. And through learning to install the jobs and obviously asking around the budget, I charge per item. So if I send you an estimate, you're going to see that it's going to say, let's say, 10 podocarpus, this is a plant that we use here, at $15 each. So it's a breakdown. I used to be scared of telling people that alone. I don't want people the clients knowing how much the item costs. I used to tell myself that, but I figured that it was actually a good way to cover yourself as well if your prices are all there. So maybe they want more plants, or maybe they get the estimate and they say, okay, I like the design, I like everything, but let's just do, instead of 10 agaves, we'll just do 5. Let's downsize the job. I want to do it with you guys anyway. Compared to a bulk price, and you just have to guess or go back to your notes on what you charge them. So that's one advice I would say. If you're trying to get into the design, I would go per item, per yard of rock, per plant. So yeah, that's some advice I could give you there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's definitely different. Not everybody does it that way. I think a lot of people don't like line iteming, but hey, if it works for you, then do it yourself. Do you just charge, like, I know I get this a lot, like how do you charge for landscape jobs like trimming shrubs or planting plants, things like that? Do you just like have a man hour rate on top of your plant cost, or do you just budget in like how much it costs you per plant to plant it?
For sure. So I've also asked about what the current market price is. So I want to be obviously fair and be around that range. So let's say the 3 gallons are going, if it's one of the standard plants, it's going at about $15 per plant. Depends who you ask, but let's say $15. But as far as averaging out the time, yeah, you have to come up with that number. It depends on what the product is, but I've figured out those numbers. It took me a little while to make sure that we're good on those numbers.
And it's a process. You're not going to figure it out overnight. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Like, it's not something that you're just going to do your first job and then be done.
Correct. So it's just those little formulas that you got to stick to cover yourself. And like you said, a lot of people don't like putting the quantity. But sometimes people will want more of something, so they'll look at the price and look at their budget and like, okay, we could bump it up a bit here. So it's not always, retracting, but yeah, I've studied a lot of the pricing of the plants. I try to keep some stuff in stock. Thankfully, about a year Yeah, I think we're about more than a year. I think we just hit a little more than a year that I met this guy. That's why you have to take opportunities when they come. It doesn't matter if you don't know like someone forever or if it's family. Sometimes the opportunity family offers is nowhere near as good as a complete stranger might offer you an opportunity. Point is, I came across this guy that I got recommended by one of my workers, and he has a truck yard, and he parks his semis. He has multiple semis, and he needs an area for agriculture to get a tax exemption. And in the same time, I was telling myself, how am I going to get a nursery? I need a nursery, like a plant. I need a little area for the plants because I saw the movement on plants down here in South Florida, here in Homestead in general. We're the hub of growing plants. So I wanted to get in the industry, but I didn't have the money or capital. So I'm like, how am I going to buy land? It's crazy expensive down here. But I met this guy. I took the opportunity, and he told me, hey, just bring whatever you need to bring. We'll split the cost at the end. He just wants the place full. So when the inspectors come, there's plants. And I was like, hey, say no more. Can I bring my trucks? That was the catch. Can I bring my trucks here? And he says, yeah, go ahead. So thankfully now I have all my stuff at a little ranch there, and we have sprinklers. And thanks to those sprinklers, I could keep plants in stock. So that has helped tremendously. So you're not driving all around town buying plants. I stick to the same plants. That way I can stock up. My designs are more or less the same, unless the client leads off. But I try to, when I do my designs, it's going to be the same thing. So because all my stuff is in-house.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. That takes efficiency to the next level for sure. I know a lot of people would wish that they could get their hands on a place like that, and it's cool. It's not about who you know; it's about who knows you. And so that's what people tell me all the time. And everybody says it's all about who you know, and that's important. But it's more important of who knows you.
Who knows you? Yep. Yeah. I'm glad you touched up on that, because that's the biggest thing that has changed me with Instagram. There is so many landscapers down here in South Florida. There's landscapers that are doing big, huge things. But guess what? People when they go on Instagram, they might find me first and that guy.
Yep.
Because that's the presence that I'm trying to build on social media. So that has put me on the map a lot. And I tell people all the time, I'm a little guy. I'm going through it. The page looks great and all, but I got my struggles, plenty of them. I like that you said that, together in the trade, everyone's a highlight reel. Maybe someone's listening to this podcast right now saying, oh man, this guy's just crushing it. Yeah, I'm breaking good numbers and breaking records, but every Friday is a serious struggle paying the guys, making sure every time the Isuzu payment goes through, $1,000 every month, $1,100 for my Isuzu, $1,100 for my 3,500. Every time that goes through, and it's, you got to be on your toes, ready for more work, ready for all that. It's a lot that goes to it. I have my mental breakdowns as well. I tell them it's not like like I said, it's not always a highlight reel. I'm going through my challenges as well. But thankfully, when I look back, we've always grown. So that's what matters.
How far out do you try to stay booked this time of year?
It slowed down. I was almost booked for 2 months. That was really well. But I think I'm also getting used to full-time design, because before I was mowing lawn all year, and you just basically mow lawn all year, lawns all year here. It's almost the same season. It's very, very consistent. So I wouldn't particularly see trends like I'm seeing trends now in the design aspect. For example, people that are very wealthy that have money for a landscape design are probably going to go to Europe for a month, let's say, a month straight, or take a cruise for 2 weeks and they're gone. So a lot of people invest their time in the summer with their kids and their family, is what I'm hearing, and then once the school picks back up, everyone's like, okay, let's get back to work. Let's upgrade the house. Let's do this. Let's do that. But I have heard that, summer, everyone's kind of in that summer mojo, where, and it's also very, very hot. So I feel like people are not motivated to do as many things outside.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're like, let's just wait till the winter. People will tell me, let's wait till the winter. It's okay. No rush.
That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. You know you're south when they say, "Let's wait till the winter to do the landscaping." You're close to the equator, but that's good stuff, man. That's really good. I really appreciate you coming on today. Before we wrap this thing up here, you have any words of wisdom or advice you'd like to leave the guests with today?
Now, my friend, just just try to stay in the trenches, baby. Like I say, always in the trenches. Very thankful for my team, my wife, especially. We just came back from together in the trade, so can't leave that out, man. She helps me tremendously, so maybe that's one tip that I could put in there. If your wife is willing to help, man, go for it, because there's a lot that goes to this business, and things add up quick. If you're in it together, obviously now I pay my wife a salary now, but it's okay because it's all we put it into our numbers. But in general, for many years, she helped me just to help me, and maybe not all women might like it, maybe they do, but if I would just put it on the table, because there's a lot of things that women can do that us men are not good at and not motivated to do. So,
for sure.
Just try to delegate certain tasks. Don't be scared to delegate. But no, I appreciate it, my friend. It was an honor. Glad to be on the Jennings show. And congratulations, man. You've done more than 100 podcasts, man.
Yeah, man. It's coming up on 110, I think, is what we're getting close to right now. I don't know for sure, but
wow, nice consistency. That's consistency.
Yeah, try to. I think we've missed 2 days. I think in that time we've missed 2 shows. So
much respect.
Well, I appreciate it, man. It's been a journey doing it, and I enjoy it. I just try to give back what little bit that I've learned over the last couple of years here. I do have one final question for you that we do ask all of our guests, or try to at least, if I remember. But it's pretty simple, but it can be complex, and it's just what is your why?
Why? Man, I would say me and my wife were talking about this the other day, making that purpose. The Jeff Joyner said, write the purpose. Family purpose. And I've always had a why in general, and it just I don't like average. I don't want to be average. I don't want to get stuck in the middle. I just want to be able to provide for my family, like my father did for us, and more. So it's just one of those things that I don't want to be average. That's my why. I'm very motivated by, yes, the money does matter. So it you can do a lot with that. It doesn't sound as humble, but the reality is, if you're trying to provide, you need to make those numbers.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff. I love it. I love hearing it. Everybody's answer is different, and that's why I love asking that question. Well, man, where can everybody find you if they want to connect with you on your Instagram and stuff? Check out what you're doing.
Thank you. Yes, sir. It would be at Miami Landscaper. Try to keep it easy for you guys.
yeah, that's pretty good. That is, everybody should be able to find that one very, very easily. And
that's been a huge help for sure. The name is half the battle.
Yeah, because I don't think people would be trying to search your last name. How do you spell your last name?
Capote. Capote.
Capote. So there you go. How do you pronounce it? Capote? Capote?
When I would get in trouble in school, they would say Capote.
Is that what your mom called you when you got in trouble?
But in Spanish, it's Capote.
Okay.
So it just depends how you pronounce it in English and Spanish. But no, for sure. No, and actually, that's a big tip I could give to landscapers. That name has helped me tremendously. That has been maybe 4 or 5 years. People are using Instagram as a Google search. So if you are in Alabama or a certain city, you could stick to the city, so it's a little easier. You stick to your city and you say, the Pittsburgh landscaper. I told my buddy that when we met at the 10X. He saw my name and I was like, man, no one cares who my company's, Paul's General Landscaping, and we abbreviated it to PGL. PGL was catchy, but still people don't know who PGL is, or people don't know who care who PGL is. They're looking for a Miami landscaper.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, and listening, keep your business name at the bottom of your page or whatnot, but your main icon name, try switching it up to your city, and you're gonna notice that you're gonna get some calls. 100%.
Yeah, man, that's good advice. That's I haven't really thought about it that way, but that is really good advice. You said you went to 10X. Did you go to the conference?
Yes. The last couple ones were virtual, but the one that was in Miami was a huge game changer for me. That after that event is when I started YouTubing more people in my industry. I'm like, okay, because that was one of the talks. Like, if you don't know anyone that is doing what you do, then YouTube them. Everything's on YouTube. And I'm not one of those big guys that like, oh, just search it on YouTube and you'll learn how to do it. Like, I'm not like that. I like to physically, but it was to that point where I'm like, hey, man, you know what? I'm going to go on YouTube. And that's how I found Brian's Lawn Maintenance, the most organized lawn company I've ever seen in my life. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. Everything is so clean. And I started learning about Caleb. And his story was cool because he did the landscaping maintenance. He was there, and he speaks about it. He dreads it. He says the best day of his life was when he stopped mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
So that was like, wow, this guy is there. He's talking about it. And then Keith Kalfas, he has his own thing. So the YouTube was a big deal. But 10X, yes, back to 10X. Yes, man, that event was really good. You have to invest in yourself. All those personal development events, man, they're worth every penny, man. The Together in the Trades was huge push. You think you're gonna make it to LAL?
I am planning on it. Yes, I'm planning on it. I know you're not going to be at GIE though, because you have a important date going on that day, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard about that one?
Yeah. What you got?
For sure, my anniversary, man. My
there
anniversary is
1 year,
at the
right?
end of October. Yes, it's gonna be our 1 year anniversary. So
you got to go
we're gonna
big.
figure out where we go.
You got to go big on that one. That's gonna be a fun one, man. And congratulations on getting married and stuff. There's nothing like it. I know y'all been together for a long time, but there's nothing like taking that step and really committing to each other for the rest of your lives and putting those rings on and just vowing to stay together and go through everything, ups and downs. And it's cool because I know you've gone through those. Like, y'all have gone through those ups and downs and things.
She was there. She was there.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. Well, we've gone so far over, but this has been a really fun show. And like I said, I appreciate your time tonight, man. Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you would, leave us those ratings and reviews because they do help us. They boost us in the algorithm. If you enjoy the shows that we put out on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then go leave us a review. Simple 2-sentence reviews there. They really do help, and we really, really appreciate it. You can connect with us on Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram. You can follow us there. Share the show on Instagram. That really means a lot as well. If you tag us, we will reshare it there. So, Paul, thank you so much for your time tonight, man. I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
Of course. Thank you. Likewise, it was a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you again for listening to the show today, and we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.